what happened, starting from when you ran away, I guess?
I didn't really run away. My grandmother kicked me out.
This is 17-year-old Cassie Bjorke. She's been missing for the past 2 weeks, and when she was finally found, she was bleeding out on the floor of her friend's bathroom with her boyfriend, 19-year-old Johnny Ryder.
I'm dying as we speak. I love you.
He first asked me, "Are you afraid to die?" And I said no. And then I asked him, "Are you afraid to die?" And he said no.
But further investigation would reveal that they weren't the victims in this story. In fact, the teens were actually co-conspirators caught in a twisted romance.
And then I hear Kevin begging my brother, like, "Johnny, please don't do this. You don't have to do this." Johnny had Kevin in a chokehold, and my brother's girlfriend was in there with the bat.
The world itself is corrupt. People are selfish, envious, greedy. This life is not real.
You see, both of Cassie's grandparents are also missing, and detectives have the sneaking suspicion that she and Johnny had something to do with it.
Anything else?
On March 28, 2017, 63-year-olds Wendy and Randall Bjorke contacted the Lawrenceville police, stating that their live-in granddaughter, 17-year-old Cassandra Bjorke, had left their home 2 days prior and hadn't returned. This wasn't particularly unusual behavior for Cassie, and it wasn't a secret that she'd been placed in the custody of her grandparents and moved to their house on Furlong Run due to long-term behavioral issues that got her in trouble with the law. But the move didn't alleviate the problem. In fact, being taken from her friends only gave Cassie another reason to be resentful and disobedient. But her grandparents remained supportive and hopeful that they could get her on the right path. But that mentality would eventually turn against them. Upon receiving report of the runaway teen, an officer responded and got a description of Cassie, but all he could do was keep an eye out for her. A few days passed, and though police hadn't seen Cassie, they hadn't heard from Wendy again to make a missing persons report, so they figured Cassie had come home and the case was ultimately forgotten about. During that time, a welfare check was done on the Bjorke's home at the behest of a family member, but it appeared that no one was home and the officers left. But a week and a half later, on April 7th, a missing persons report would finally be filed, but not for Cassie, for Randall and Wendy. Randall's sister, Sylvia, was the one to file the report, saying that she lived out of state, but that neither of them had answered their phones in an entire week, which was extremely unusual. Based on her report, Wendy and Randall were added to the missing persons list, and a bulletin was sent out for their retrieval. The following day, on April 8th, an event occurred that seemed completely irrelevant to the Bjorke case, until officers got the full details. Around 8:30 in the evening, police responded to a residence on Rambling Woods Drive for a DV call. There, one of the occupants, Mindy Ryder, told them about the madness that had just unfolded inside her family home.
So how you doing? You feeling all right, or?
Yeah, I feel good now. I have a really bad back, like I have a big bruise about this big across my back from the back.
Lucky you didn't have a concussion or anything? Who all lives at that house?
My mom, my sister, my brother, and me.
What's your mom's name?
Tomoko Ryder.
T-O...
M-O-K-O. Ryder.
Who else?
My sister Nina Ryder, N-I-N-A Ryder, and my brother Johnny.
What's your boyfriend's name? What's your full name?
My full name is Chanyang Kim, C-H-A-N.
Hold on a minute. How long you and Mindy been dating for?
Since we've been seeing each other since last summer.
We're not officially boyfriend girlfriend, but we've been friends since July.
What happened here tonight?
Should I start from the
Yeah, right.
So me and Kevin were coming back from his school after studying.
What time is this around about?
We left for Georgia Tech around 10, came back around 3. Then we picked up food. And then we came back. I'm not sure what time it was.
Today we I believe around 5 or 6 p.m.ish. We took the food for dinner, and then we walked into Mindy's room. When we entered the room, Johnny and his I guess girlfriend were smoking weed in the living room inside the house. It was smell. So Mindy was like, at first First, as Mindy first entered the house, she was like, "Did you smoke inside the house? Mom's coming in 10 minutes." So I guess it kind of made him like a little more hyper pissed him, like, because he didn't know, I guess, mom's coming or something today. And then we walked into Mindy's room, and as soon as we entered the room, everything was just flipped. Everything, like even her friend's watch was gone, half of her clothes were gone, and all her stuff were just flipped. Like all the boxes, private, personal stuff were flipped. So we were really mad. Man, we knew Johnny did it. So we were asking him, "Did you do it?" And he was keep lying.
But we were about to eat the food we just to go, and I noticed my room is trashed. Like everything's been flipped out. Like all my purses have been went through. And I told my brother, "I know you did this. You and your girlfriend are the only ones that have been home. Like just own up to it. Just own up to it and tell me. I won't call the cops or anything." And at the time, he was on the phone with my mom, and he was like, "So if I own up to it, you won't call the cops?" And I said, "Yes." So that's when he hung up, and I hung up on the police. Like I already dialed 911. And then all of a sudden he goes out and comes back in and just sprays us straight in our faces and starts hitting us and tells his girlfriend to go grab the bat. And I see her come in with the bat, and the first thing she does is hit me across my back. And I try to grab it from her, and she hits me on the head and keeps kicking me in the stomach. And Kevin and Johnny are fighting in my room. So I chase her out to the living room, and I'm trying to grab the bat, but like since we're all covered, like I keep slipping. I eventually run to the bathroom, and I wash my face, and I try to get off all the blood and the pepper spray. And then I hear Kevin begging my brother, like, "Johnny, please don't do this. You don't have to do this." And I went in the room, and Johnny had Kevin in a chokehold, and my brother's girlfriend was in there with the bat. And so I was able to like grab her by her hair and like take the bat away from her. And I started hitting my brother, telling him to let go. And then I handed the bat to Kevin. And then Kevin was going to hit my brother, but my brother caught the bat. And then we all fought over the bat. And it was me and my brother on my sofa. And then Kevin grabbed a beer bottle and told Johnny to stop, to just let us go. And like, we won't do anything. But my brother said he will never do that. And so Kevin hit him on the top of the head with the beer bottle. And it shattered. And then we kept fighting for the baseball bat, and then he told his girlfriend to go get a hammer, like a big steel hammer like this big. And then she couldn't come in the room because of the smell. And then my mom came home, and I told her what was happening, and then we went straight to the emergency room.
So who was at the house when all this happened? Just you and Kevin?
Me, Kevin, my brother, and his girlfriend.
What's your brother's name? I mean, Johnny, obviously. So Johnny, what's Johnny's girlfriend's name?
I'm not sure what her name is. I've only seen her once 2 weeks ago.
What's she look like? White, black, Hispanic?
She's white. She's about 5'5", 5'6", weighs about 115 to 120. She has like black hair, like cuts off right under her boobs. And she has kind of a slim figure, but she's not like really slim.
How long Johnny's been dating her for?
Maybe 2 weeks. He just broke up with his ex not long ago.
Who was Johnny's ex?
Tiffany. Her last name is H-O.
The bat, is that a bat that is at your house, or do you know where
it's in my mom's car, actually. We grabbed it before we left.
Is in your mom's car right now?
Yes.
Okay, but is that your bat from your house, or have you ever seen that bat
I've never seen that bat before.
So you don't know where she got the bat from?
Or the hammer she grabbed.
You've never seen that before either?
I've never seen that before either. I really think they planned this before I got home. Because I told them my mom's 10 minutes away, and they seemed kind of shocked. And then they seemed really calm, and then they sprayed us and tried to knock us out.
So when your mom basically came home, your brother and his girl basically just took off?
No, whenever my mom came home, I was screaming for her. I told her that he's trying to kill us, he's trying to kill us. And then he told my mom, no, they're trying to kill me, because we were all bloody. And all she saw was me and Kevin and just Johnny. And he was bleeding the most out of all of us. And so he kept telling her, he was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I told my mom I just drugged Kevin outside and waited for my mom to get in her car. And then my mom said that she saw them like scurrying out the door to leave when she left.
Following the altercation, 19-year-old Johnny and his girlfriend sped away from the scene in Mindy's Nissan Xterra, leaving the Mazda Tribute they'd arrived in the garage. The family assumed that it belonged to Johnny's girlfriend. When asked to identify this girlfriend, Mindy's boyfriend advised that it was none other than...
What's she look like? She a white chick? Asian,
I remember
black?
it was saying about Cassie, Cassandra, some rhyme type of way with the Cassie or something like the Creasy, might be. That's all I remember.
Missing teen Cassie Bjorhe. Over the next couple hours, a stolen vehicle alert was sent out for the Nissan and a felony arrest warrant was authorized for Johnny Ryder, who would presumably lead them straight to Cassie. However, as officers continued to survey Mindy's home for clues, one of them suddenly had a realization that changed the entire focus of the case. Officer Jay Sanders was one of the officers on scene and happened to be the same officer who documented Wendy and Randall's missing persons report. So when they ran the plates of the Mazda in Tomoko's garage, and it came back as registered to Randall Bjorhe, Officer Sanders' face went white as a sheet. He quickly pulled Sergeant Brewster to the side and insisted that they needed to go check on the Bjorhes now. So, despite it being 10 o'clock at night, the two sped from that scene to the elderly couple's home and knocked on the door. Like the first time, they received no response, and when they looked in the windows, the only visible light inside the home was a small light in the kitchen. Officer Sanders stepped back and glanced around the yard. And that's when he noticed that the Bjorhes' second SUV was parked inside the garage. This meant that both of their two vehicles were accounted for, which only deepened the mystery of where the couple could have gone. For several minutes, the duo stood outside debating whether or not they had the right to enter the home, but they eventually determined that exigent circumstances were at play, or that they had reasons to believe that the occupants were in trouble. And with that conclusion, they approached the front door again, this time smashing the adjacent window pane, reaching in and unlocking it from the inside. As the door swung open, they heard nothing. The inside of the house was completely silent. They crept in and cleared the ground floor of the home before proceeding up the stairs, and upon reaching the top, they looked to their left and found a hall where two of the doors had a thick lining of caulk plastered around the edge, as if to seal them shut. They proceeded past those two doors to a bedroom at the end of the hall where, to their horror, they found a bed with large bloodstains on the pillows and sheets, particularly at the head of the bed. They also noted used strips of duct tape all over the floor, and that's when they knew they had to go inside those other rooms. They gathered in front of the room farthest from the staircase, and Sergeant Brewster drove his boot right next to the knob. The door easily popped open, but it stopped mid-swing when it bumped the leg of Wendy, who was lying face up on the bathroom floor. Despite their inability to fully enter the bathroom, just one glance was enough to know that she was deceased. She was in her pajamas surrounded by a pool of blood. Her arms were taped behind her back. Her throat had been cut, and her face and head were swollen beyond recognition. After confirming Wendy's whereabouts, the officers could only hazard a guess at what was behind door 2. Upon kicking in the second door, the officers walked into the darkness of the master bedroom. Before they could proceed, Officer Sanders flicked on the light switch, and almost immediately wished that he hadn't. The headboard and the wall above it were thoroughly splattered with red liquid, and the mattress was soaked in a significant amount of blood. And on the bed was Randall, resting in a heap of red and brown pillows. His face had been mangled and crushed, and like Wendy, his throat was also slit. Speechless, the officers exited the home and reported their findings to the department, at which point the Bjorhe residence became a crime scene. Now that Wendy and Randall had been located, the only piece missing was Cassie, and detectives buzzed around the crime scene for clues as to where she might have gone. Then suddenly, around 8 a.m. the next morning, April 9th, they received a radio message from officers in the neighboring city of Sewanee, stating that they'd located the stolen vehicle. It was sitting empty in the parking lot of the residences at McGinnis Ferry apartment complex, in front of the 800 building. Detectives sat in their cars for over an hour watching the vehicle from a distance and waiting for activity when they finally got it, around 9 a.m., when they witnessed a young man who appeared to be Johnny walk to the Nissan and back into an apartment in the rear of the building. After speaking with the leasing office, officers identified the specific apartment as Unit 818, and within the next 2 hours, police had a search warrant for the apartment and a SWAT team gathered in the parking lot. Finally, at 11 a.m., the head officer gave the signal and the agents began marching towards the apartment. With their weapons aimed, the officers demanded that all the occupants exit the apartment. Moments later, the tenant, Linda Spencer, and her two children, Anna and Jacob, emerged from the unit, and all confirmed that Johnny and Cassie were still inside. They'd reportedly shown up at the apartment the previous night around 9:30 p.m., about an hour after they'd attacked Mindy and her boyfriend. When they arrived, Johnny wasn't wearing shoes or a shirt, only basketball shorts, and his face was covered in scratches. Being Johnny's friend, Jacob let him and Cassie inside, where Johnny explained that he'd gotten into a violent altercation with his family and needed somewhere to crash. Linda agreed to let them spend one night, and the couple simply cleaned themselves off and went to bed. And so did everyone else until they were awoken by the SWAT team that morning. But as the officers were outside getting this information from the Spencers, officers had no idea that Johnny and Cassie were inside attempting to escape justice. The officers would finally realize this almost an hour later when one of them got in contact with Johnny's mother, who advised that he'd just left her a voicemail saying,
Hey, Ma, tell Kevin I'm sorry. I'm not well. I'm mentally crazy. I'm dying as we speak. I love you. This isn't it. I'll see you later, okay?
The phone number that left the voicemail was that of Wendy Biore, and the officers knew the suspects had Wendy's phone after activity was detected from the device the day before. Despite the news that Johnny might be in danger, the officers were still wary, so they sent in a hazardous devices unit, a fancy term for police robot, to locate him. The robot officer whirred into the apartment and slowly made its way across the living room towards the hall. At the start of the hallway, it encountered a bathroom door that was locked and used its arm to force the door open. Through the robot officer's camera, officers outside saw Johnny slouching against a wall of the bathroom with his head hanging down to his chest. Cassie was laying between his legs with her head resting on his stomach and a blanket covering her lower body. The floor surrounding them was covered in blood, and in front of the toilet sat a black bucket containing several different bottles of medication. Loose pills were also scattered on the ground between the toilet and the bathtub, and neither teen was moving. At that point, SWAT made their way into the bathroom, where they could more clearly see that both teens had sliced their wrists, in addition to possibly consuming the pills. An officer knelt down next to the couple to check their pulses and confirm that they were dead, but to his shock, he found that both teens were still alive. They wasted no time rushing them to Gwinnett Medical Center, where they received treatment and eventually awoke.
Obviously, you being a man, I'm being a man, we're all men here. I want to come first to you, man up, and let's talk about what the heck happened. A lot of stuff that's been going on, I don't think it's been your idea. I do think it's been Cassie's idea, okay? So that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. But like I said, if you don't want to talk to us, you want your attorney, that's fine, we'll leave you alone. And
like we said in the...
Can I talk to you about your Marine experience?
About my who? So what I did in the Marine Corps?
Yes, sir.
I was in the infantry, and then I was a sniper in the Marine Corps. And I'm currently, I work here in the police department, and I'm also on the SWAT team. So the SWAT team went in there basically to help you guys out, you know? So I really don't think neither of you guys want to, leave this place. So at least I hope you guys don't,
Everybody has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I went to jail, I got really close to the car. And he showed me that I'm supposed to spread the word. But I knew when I got out of jail that the world itself is corrupt. People are selfish, envious, greedy, angry, violent. And it's just like, when I saw that, I just get so sad.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to stay upbeat sometimes with the world.
I can't live without Cassie. I don't know why. I never felt like this about any other girl.
So why would you just want to end it if you guys want to?
Because this isn't it. This life isn't it. There's after this. I'd rather see like all the charges against me, because like if I haven't been charged, then I'd rather like not be in the hospital.
You're charged with aggravated assault on your sister and her boyfriend.
Okay.
So I just kind of want to know. We all want to know what happened.
Yes.
So
I know that me and Kevin fought. Because
before you go into this, man, you gotta I'd like to understand. You understand your rights? Are you willing to talk freely? I can step out. I can step out, and you can talk to him if you
I'm
want.
not saying you're better. I'm not saying you're better. I'm not saying you're worse. I'm not saying you're worse. I'm not saying he's better or worse.
Would you want to talk to
There's
him?
a difference in experience in this one. I have ADD. Like I'm a really deep drinker, but like I would really like to talk to a counselor or psychiatrist to see what the hell is wrong with me. Excuse my language, because
Johnny ultimately refused to answer questions, and Cassie answered a few before detectives left the suspects to recover. On April 12th, 3 days after being admitted, both suspects were released and Johnny was taken straight to jail, while Cassie was transported to the Gwinnett County Police Headquarters, where they would finally have their questions answered about where Cassie had been for the past 2 weeks and what exactly happened to Wendy and Randall Bjorge.
Yeah. I don't think I've met you before, have I?
No. You remember my name? Coolness.
Coolness? Really?
Swear. That's probably why I was class clown 25.
Miss Coolness. That's a pretty
Miss Coolness, Shannon Coolness, whatever you want.
You done with your stuff? Everything?
You want to pick at the fries maybe while we sit here?
Well, obviously, I'm the guy kind of in charge of what's been going on, I guess, the past week, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when I came in yesterday, just asked you a couple questions?
Yeah.
Remember I made fun of myself because your Graham's password was 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
4?
Yeah. It was. I always did that with all of my phones. I don't like complicated passwords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I used to do all zeros.
That's a good one.
Well, I don't want, kind of to make you upset or make you relive anything, but I just got some follow-up questions I'd like to ask you.
All the stuff was happening with my parents and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting scared going to school because my stepdad literally come on campus looking around the whole campus just to find me. Like he was going in classrooms and stuff. So I had to get like a restraining order.
Yeah, I know you've been dealing with a lot of drama with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Duluth High School in 2015?
Yeah.
So I guess as a freshman, you were a freshman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I guess your boyfriend Johnny,
Mm-hmm.
how long you date that dude for?
Like 3 months.
3 months. Where'd you guys meet at?
I met him through the ex-boyfriend who sold my phone.
That's payback.
That's true, I guess.
I met him because they came to pick me up one day because we wanted to chill, and then we went to Tybee Island for like 2 days.
That's awesome.
So.
Did you guys stay in a hotel or on the beach or what?
Yeah, we stayed at a hotel. Like they paid for everything. They asked me if I wanted to come. I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's go have fun on the beach.
And this was Johnny's family, I guess?
No, this was like, it was just me, Johnny, Tyler, and this guy named Corey.
Okay.
After Tybee, we went to Atlanta, and we were on like this, I don't know, it was like this parking lot thing, and we got to see like the whole city.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that when we were sitting up there, that like, for a second, he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he told me that all he could see was just me and then purple around me. And he said, like, purple is, like, a sign of love. And he said, like, ever since then, like, it was, like, love at first sight or something.
That's pretty cute, though.
I don't know. I mean, he got married to, like, this crazy bitch. And then now she's, like, saying that I'm stalking her when I've only met the girl, like, twice.
Yeah, I talked to Johnny a couple days ago, and just talking to him, I think she definitely was crazy, so.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. So he sends his regards and all that stuff, so.
Is he doing okay?
No, he's fine. Okay. Yeah, he actually is better off than you. You know, they weren't that deep or anything, so he didn't.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I could have sworn he did worse than me, because I remember when we were in the bathroom, because he did it with me too, he kept going, and I kept telling him to stop. So.
Yeah, maybe this tougher skin. I don't really know.
Okay.
So I guess let's start from scratch about what happened, starting from when you ran away. I guess is that the 31st? Do you remember, or 28th or something like that?
I don't really. Was it I didn't really run away. My grandma like kicked me out.
Okay.
Cause like this is what happened. Like I was chilling with Johnny and my other friend Sabrina, and I came home because it was time for curfew. Because I didn't want to violate my probation, so I came home, and my grandpa was asleep, and my grandma got really mad at me, and she was like saying like, oh, if you don't like it here, we're just gonna find somewhere else for you to stay. And she just said that out of the blue. Like, she just got really mad for some reason. And so I was just like, if you're gonna find another place for me to stay, I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna find somewhere else to go. So.
And this was basically when you took off, you came back, your grandparents were home, and I guess that's when you had that argument?
Wait, what?
So you just had an argument with your grandma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did
and
you?
Then I left.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I got you. And then when you left, where'd you go to?
I was just staying with Johnny. Like, we were sleeping in his car.
And what kind of car is that?
It was a blue, like, Honda or Toyota. It was like,
Kicking it with Johnny, where are you kicking it with him at?
we were just all over the place, Bailey. We were just trying to find something to do, just keep, just have something to do, because we don't want to just sit around and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were finding, like, people to chill with and go to the mall or something.
Was it all your friends you were chilling with, or all his friends, or a combination? Or?
It was sort of like combination between both.
Who are your friends? Is it just Sabrina, or you got other?
I mean, I only have like one other friend, Izzy.
Izzy.
I don't like chilling with like a lot of people, just because I don't trust a lot of people.
I'm saying, well, I literally only have a couple friends myself, so she's one of them. So I guess when do you decide to go back to your grandparents' house in the middle of the night?
It was like a couple days after, like 2 or 3 days.
You remember Saturday, Sunday? Do you have an exact?
I don't really remember. Like I didn't really even know like what day it was that we went into the house.
And before you did that, did you and Johnny meet up somewhere at a park or something to talk about what's going on?
We went to Peace Ridge Park, and we talked about it. At first, it wasn't my idea at first.
How did you even get, I guess, what was said? How did you even bring up? What was the context?
He first asked me, are you afraid to die? And I said no. And then I asked him, are you afraid to die? And he said no. And he was just talking about how we could like run away together, that kind of like dream. And he asked me, he was like, would you kill your grandparents? And I kind of like hesitated for a minute. And I was like, why? And he was just like, I don't know. I mean, because he knows probably everything that I've been through with all of my family. And he understands that, like, all I really wanted to do was just kind of get away from everything, kind of just move on with myself. Like, I wasn't having a good relationship with my grandparents. Like, it started getting really bad, like, I got a charge from them because, like, I fought them, I might have broken, like, my grandpa's ribs when, for that charge for simple assault and simple battery, And it just got really worse. We just kept arguing all the time, and then, I don't know, I guess things, like, just seemed different. They didn't look at me the same anymore. Like, they didn't, I don't know, it's like, the vibe that they have was, like, they didn't really know what to do. They didn't really know, like, how to, like, be around me, I guess. They didn't really know how to talk to me. So I didn't really know, like, how to talk to them either. So it was just a really hard,
It was a big age difference, too, so.
Yeah. And then, before all of the stuff happened with my parents, like, they treated me so much differently, They had, they trusted me, I could have done anything at their house, like, I was free, and I loved going over there, and it wasn't like I was actually, like, living there, so, because I was with my parents, so I never, like, ever had that feeling, but even though I did live with them before, I don't know, it kind of just, like, changed throughout, like, the whole time that I was with them, So I don't know. I kind of just
Grew apart.
yeah.
When you guys met at the park, did he ever go over the actual plan on how you guys would do it or anything like that, or like what was that about?
Well, I mean, we were just trying to figure out how to get money.
Cassie had mentioned in the initial hospital interview that the reason Johnny tore his sister's room apart was in an attempt to find cash. It's unclear why Johnny was so desperate for money, however. In the Bjorke's living room where the couple had been staying after the murders, police found a pipe, a jar containing marijuana shake, and a couple dozen packs of cigarillos. This indicated that Johnny likely needed the money to purchase weed, and he needed it so much that he was willing to kill for it.
You know, what time should we go over to the house? How are we gonna do this? You know, like what materials do we need to do this? So we started talking about that, and then so we decided to go around like midnight or 1:30 because my grandma normally went to sleep around like 11:30, 12. So we decided we would park down the road, and then the park was literally like right behind my backyard, like the neighborhood park. So I was able to go through the park and then cut through my backyard because there was a fence. Like there was the trees, then there was my fence, and then there was the house. So you could easily go through the trees, and then there was the little gate that you could go through. I didn't even think you could even open it.
Yeah, how'd you guys move that cement? Isn't there like a cement block or cinder block or something?
Yeah, it was pretty easy to move. Like I was able to push the door out a little bit, and then it was stuck, but I was able to maneuver my body over to get into the other side, and then I just moved the cement block over so then Johnny could get through,
Gotcha.
and then I moved it back.
Do you remember what you guys were wearing when you guys did this, or?
I was wearing mostly red. I had red sweatpants. I had a red hoodie on. I had a black a t-shirt that I used as a mask. I think Johnny wore all black.
Do you remember what kind of shoes you were wearing, or no?
I was wearing combat boots. They were Tim's.
Was he like a skater? Did he skate or something? Skateboard?
Yeah. He was wearing some skater shoes or something. Okay. They might have been Vans or.
What color were they? You remember?
I don't remember.
Y'all were living out of his car. Did he have a lot of clothes in his car that he would change into?
Yeah.
Okay.
He already had clothes in his car.
Okay. But did he have different shoes, or did he kind of just keep one pair of shoes on?
He had different shoes. He had a bunch of stuff in his car. Okay. It's kind of like Mary Poppins.
Okay.
That's a good frame of
You got some
reference.
good analogies. I like that. So when you guys made it to the back door or the back gate, what'd you guys do next? How'd you move up to the house?
Well, we went up the stairs.
The decking stairs?
Yeah,
okay.
The back deck. And my grandma was still up because we got there a little bit early. So we went back down and we were kind of just chilling over where...
the shed is?
Yeah, we were just chilling by the shed. And then we saw that the lights turned out, and then we just stayed outside for a little bit longer just to, wait. And then I already had the keys to my house because I already had a set of keys, so I was able to unlock the back door. And then that just made everything easier.
And as back door, do you mean the bottom back door, or so you're still talking about the door on steps?
Yeah, when you go up the back, on the back deck, there's two doors. There's a door on the left and a door on the right, and I went to the door on the right because the door on the left had a sensor on it, one of those
beep beep or whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
The door 4 open, something like that.
One of the ones that kind of announces each door. Okay. But the one you guys went into didn't have it.
Yeah, I was able to take that one out because it was a really old alarm system. They had this alarm system for years, and all you had to do was just you had to push this little button just to open it, and then just take the battery out. And I already took the battery out a while ago.
What was that for? You taking the battery out?
Just to sneak out.
Okay.
And plus, I hated that thing that went off every time. It got so annoying.
So then you guys are at back door now. You're the first one to kind of walk inside there, or how do you? Okay.
So there was stuff in front of the door because my grandma normally would block off the back door. So, but I was able to open. So I unlocked the back door. I was able to open the back door a little bit and not have the stuff in front of the door fall and, you know, make a noise. So I was able to, like, maneuver in, and then I moved the stuff in front of the door, and then I got Johnny in. And then we closed the door and locked it.
And then would you guys kind of just hang out downstairs, or did you start moving upstairs? Or?
We went upstairs. We didn't immediately go upstairs. Like, we went to the stairs, and then we were, like, just listening, just hearing what was going on. And we thought everything was good, and then we went upstairs. And
did you guys have anything in your hands, or you just?
Yeah, I had what's it called? It's one of those car tool things.
Is it to do a tire, or
yeah,
is it
tire
to fix
iron.
it?
It was a tire iron. So I had one of those.
Where'd you get that at?
Johnny's car. Because he had one in his car.
His Honda or whatever.
And Johnny just used his fist, and he brought a black book bag that had duct tape in it, and it had the tire iron in it, and it had gloves in it, because we were also wearing gloves too.
What kind of gloves?
They were like
hospital gloves, or regular?
Like hospital gloves.
What color were they, you remember?
Blue.
Okay.
Ish? Yeah, they were blue.
Okay.
The tire iron was recovered amongst bloody clothes inside a trash bag in Randall's Mazda Tribute. There was also a second trash bag from which officers recovered more clothes, an empty duct tape roll, and 3 large kitchen knives.
So now you guys are at the stairs, starting to go up the stairs.
Yeah.
You actually had the tire iron in your hand, or is it still in the book bag?
I had the tire iron in my hand. You know, we got it out before we went inside the house. So I had it in my hand. And Johnny didn't have any weapon. He just used his fist. Okay. So
who's first up the stairs? Is it you and he's kind of following you, or?
Yeah. Okay. I go up the stairs. He goes into my grandpa's room, and then I go into my grandma's room. And yeah.
And then do you hear kind of what's going on over there? And does that kind of cue you off to with your grandmother there?
Yeah, he started going at it, and then, you know, I could hear my grandpa just yelling, you know, them fighting, and then I started getting the rush, and then, you know, like, that's when I started hitting my grandma in the head.
So you took the tire iron, is it just...
I started just beating her head with it.
Does she have a pillow over her head, do you know? Or
no.
Would she have a pillow around her head or something? Okay.
The way she was laying was she was on her stomach, and her head was facing to the right. If you go into the bedroom, you look at the bed, so her head was facing like the opposite direction, so she couldn't see me coming through the door.
Okay.
So, and then he started, you know, beating my grandpa, and then after a little bit, I like hit her really hard on the back of the head, and then she started like screaming and stuff. And
was that the first hit?
Yeah.
The back of the head?
Yeah. That's where I mainly hit her in the head. She bit me.
I think I took a picture of that yesterday, right?
Yeah, she bit me in my finger too, but I forgot which finger. It was on my right hand. I think it was either like my middle finger or it was that one.
And when you and your grandmother used to get into it, that's kind of how did she bite you before to kind of get you off or whatnot?
Yeah, she's bitten me before.
She's bitten you before too?
Yeah. I haven't bitten her, but she's bitten me before.
Okay.
Have you, like when you guys are in it, or did you just come up and bite you?
No, like when we were in it.
Okay.
Like I had this mark on my hand from where she bit me for a while.
Where did she bite you that night? On your finger?
Yeah.
Accounts from Wendy's neighbors and friends stated that they'd seen Wendy with bruises on her upper body on multiple occasions. But while Cassie tried to paint herself as the victim of the attacks, multiple witnesses attested to the small suspect actually being the primary aggressor. One witness, a neighbor of the Bjorhes, told police she'd spoken to Wendy in the fall of 2016, and that Wendy had told her that Cassie would attack her so violently that the only way to get her off would be to bite her as hard as she could.
I guess when do you meet back up with Johnny? Do you leave your grandmother there, or kind of what happens?
So I started hitting my grandma, and I already had duct tape, and then, you know, Johnny's doing his thing, and, you know, I stopped hearing Johnny doing whatever, and so he comes in the room with me and my grandma, and you know, he helps me like tie up my grandma with the duct tape. And
How did you do that? Is it just her hands, or?
I got her hands, I got her whole head, and then I got her ankles.
Okay, with her hands, I guess.
It was behind her back.
So it's like, just like this?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, what about anything on her head or neck, or did you?
Yeah, we kind of like wrapped the duct tape around her head, ish. So, and then that was it.
What was that for? Just
so then she kept it on.
Oh.
Or just cause.
And you said her ankles too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Johnny helped you tie her up?
Yeah, I mean, I mostly did it, but I needed like a little bit of help because, you know, she was like, you know, moving around and stuff, and so he helped me a little bit, and then he went back into my grandpa's room, and then
What were you doing when you went back in your grandpa's room?
I was still with my grandma, and then
in her room?
Yeah, and then I dragged her into my grandpa's room, and then Johnny asked me to go get some knives. So I got some knives from downstairs in the kitchen, and I got 3 big butcher knives. And then that's when he started like stabbing my grandpa, because then I went back upstairs because I dragged my grandma into my grandpa's room, so they were both in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked her for the code to her safe, because I already knew that she had a safe in her closet. I just didn't know it was in the safe. Yeah, I mean, like, she kept saying, like, I'll give you money, I'll give you my keys, you know, I'll give you anything you want. But, yeah, she just kept
Was
saying,
she able to talk with the duct tape around her face?
Yeah. Like, she was, like, mumbling. You could still understand her, but, like, at the same time, you couldn't.
Like, it wasn't like her mouth was shut. Like,
Yeah.
almost as if...
It was like that.
Okay. Almost as if, like, she could still move her mouth enough to make the words be on the tape.
Mm-hmm.
Stabbing your grandfather, is it mainly in the torso, or? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he just, I don't know why he did that, but he just kept going.
How many times? More than 2? More
yeah,
5?
More than 5.
Okay.
It was more than 5.
And then what happened when he was done with that? What were you doing? What were you guys doing next?
So we left my grandma sitting there on the floor, and then I got the code to the safe. So Johnny's watching my grandpa and my grandma, and I'm over.
How'd you get that code? Did she tell you guys, or?
She told us.
Okay.
And I grabbed the book bag, and I just started stuffing the book bag with everything, you know. Like, there was envelopes just filled with money. There was probably about like $1,000 that we found in that safe that they were just saving. And
did you know about that money, or you just said no?
Well, my grandma, it was kind of weird. Like, she was kind of giving me like an idea about it before. Like, she was saying, "What if I just gave you $1,000? Would that just make the world a better place?" I'm just like, no, I don't want $1,000. You know. So, you know, she kept saying that, and then like when I saw it, I was just like, wow, she actually had $1,000 in her safe. Like, that's crazy.
So you guys put that stuff in a bag, and then basically Johnny's in your grandpa's room with your grandpa and your grandma in the room. Mm-hmm. Do you come back in there and say, "Hey, I got this stuff," or what? Okay.
Yeah, I go back into the room and I tell him that I got the stuff, and so after that he slits my grandpa's throat, and then we drag my grandma into the bathroom. And
what was the reason for that? Just to bring her to the bathroom?
Yeah, I don't know why we brought her back into the bathroom. I guess we didn't want to bring her into the bedroom.
Okay.
So we just brought her into the bathroom. And then Johnny slit her throat too. Mm-hmm. And I actually hit her in the back of the head with the tire iron. Well, not the back of the head, but like right where your spine is. Because he was telling me, he was like, if you hit right there, like just one like good hit, you can just knock the person out and then they'll be dead. Mm-hmm. And she was like pretending to be dead for a while. Like I would, check up on her, and I would see that she was still breathing, and I'd be like, Johnny, she's still alive. What the heck? And then like Johnny finally like made the like last blow, and it was kind of creepy because she was like scared to die. Like she shitted herself and peed herself.
Oh, did she?
It was kind of gross. That was really.
So you said the last blow though
was just like the last hit, like that.
Last hit with the tire iron.
Mm-hmm.
And who did that? You or Johnny?
Johnny.
Had her throat already been slit?
And then after he like did that, then he slit her throat.
Oh, okay. So her throat wasn't slit until.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And then did you guys pretty much just leave the upstairs, or?
Yeah. Well, we were just.
Like,
After that, then we closed the doors, and then we were just checking around, seeing if everything was okay. And then I started grabbing my clothes and start stuffing bags with my clothes. And then Johnny's, walking around doing his thing, checking to make sure that they were both dead, and checking to make sure if we didn't forget anything. We came back to the house.
when you guys left, where'd you guys go to?
We went over to like Kroger or Publix to go get something to eat, and then we went back to the house and we just kind of like chilled there.
Which one?
It was like on Old Peachtree.
Were you in Johnny's car when you guys left, or?
No, we took my grandpa's car.
Did you leave Johnny's car at the apartment or the park rather?
Yeah. Well, after I got my grandpa's car, I drove over to Johnny's car and we dropped Johnny's car off over by these little like stores. I forgot. It's over by the Kroger that we would normally go to.
Would you go to the Kroger at Riverside?
Do anything to the doors, or?
Johnny did. He glued the doors.
Okay.
He went in my garage and found the what's it called, I don't know.
Caulk.
Yeah. So yeah, he did that.
Okay. And was the point of that is what? Just.
He just did that. He just decided to do that. He didn't tell me. I just watched him and I was just like, okay. Like, you got it.
Did you guys kind of just stay in the house then, or?
In addition to the bathroom and bedroom doors being caulked shut, it wasn't until later that responding officers noticed that the front door had also been caulked shut from the inside.
Yeah, it was kind of both. We were kind of like in and out of the house for a couple days. It was just me and him. We didn't tell anyone. I mean, I told my friends that my grandparents went on a vacation for like 2 weeks.
Did you call some of your friends ever and say, hey, if you guys want to come over? Because I spoke to some people, and that's just the rumor going out. They said, hey, if you guys want to come over, not for a party or anything, but, I got some money, grandparents are out of town.
Yeah. I mean, I would just tell people, like, I would just be like, hey, I have, like, the free crib, but I wouldn't have people come over. I'd just be like, if y'all are trying to chill, I'll come meet up with you.
Okay.
I wouldn't let them go to the house.
Right.
That makes sense.
Now, can I ask a question? In the house when you changed your clothes?
Yes.
Okay. Did you had extra clothes because you lived there?
Yeah.
What about Johnny? Did Johnny have to change clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What did you guys do with those clothes?
We put them in a trash bag, and I think we left the trash bag in my grandpa's car.
Okay.
With the knives that he used. So it was all in like one trash bag.
And that backpack you were talking about that he used, did it have a design on it?
It was just all black, said Jansport. Just
Okay.
one of those small little 1 or 2 pocket book bags.
Okay. And when you dropped his Honda off, what was the point of leaving it at the Kroger?
He said that he didn't want to drive around with that car anymore because technically that wasn't his car. I mean, it was under his mom's name.
Okay.
So he wanted to use like my grandparents' car instead.
Because if somebody came looking for you guys, they could come looking for
his car.
His car with his mom. Okay.
When you guys were, I guess, together for the 2, 3, however many days at the house, when you guys left, did you go to make any purchases to buy some new clothes using credit cards or anything? Because we got receipts in that. So do you remember whose credit card you used?
It was my grandma's credit card. Or it was a debit card.
A debit card? Do you remember what bank it was or anything, or no?
Where was that at?
It was in the car.
Your grandpa's car?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you take anything from your grandpa? Or anything else from your grandma? Did you take any of her other stuff?
No, I mean, she had some like pill bottles, a couple pill bottles, so everything that was in the safe, we just,
What else was in her purse? Anything else in her purse?
Calling your friends and all that.
yeah.
Did you have? Is that your Snapchat? Were you using?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was mainly just using Snapchat to, contact like just a couple of my friends to chill with them and stuff.
Did you guys ever chill with anyone during that week at all, or no?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I chilled. We chilled with some of his friends, some of my friends, and kind of a mixture of both of our friends. Cause, we sort of had like the same friends-ish, like, so. Yeah, we were just chilling with them. We would just go meet up with them. We would never have anyone come over to the house. We were just like, that's a no. That's a big no-no. So.
And you said, I think I asked you before, you did go to karate or whatnot on Wednesday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was he with you, or you left by yourself?
Yeah, it was me and Johnny.
You guys both went inside, or no?
Yeah, we both went inside.
Did you kind of bring all that stuff in the living room so you wouldn't have to go upstairs, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where you guys slept, pretty much?
We slept in the TV room. We didn't want to stay upstairs.
Okay.
Conversation where you guys had that, and you were talking about maybe getting out of town and stuff like that, starting your new life, starting over and whatnot.
Yeah.
How come you guys didn't stay?
Well, because this is the plan. First, we were gonna get my grandparents.
You hot? You hot?
Yeah, I want to give her the smushy things.
Okay.
What?
Your exercise stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the reason why we stayed in town was because the plan was we were gonna get both of our families. That's why.
Hold on, what?
Okay, so the plan was that we were both gonna get both of our families. But first we got my grandparents. Then that's why we went over to Johnny's house and we attacked his sister and her boyfriend because he wanted to kill his family.
Okay.
So that's like, we stayed in town for a couple days because, we wanted to get some money, we wanted to get ready to leave. And then that plan, just going over to his house, kind of just like, it didn't work out at all. It went downhill from there.
Now, there seems to be a pretty big gap.
While the attack on Mindy and her boyfriend first appeared as a mindless fit of rage, Cassie just advised the officers with little emotion that it was actually the second phase of their evil plan. Following the death of Cassie's grandparents, the two had convinced themselves that they could also rob and kill Johnny's family and Cassie's mom, then skip town as an infamous serial killer couple.
Still, though, between your grandparents and then attacking his sister and the boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Was that kind of in the plan?
Yeah.
To try to get away with it for the week and then kill them?
Well, we were really like going on like a week thing. It was kind of just like a day-to-day kind of thing. Like, what are we going to do today sort of thing. But I mean, we wanted to get out of town like as soon as possible.
Okay.
But just how it all just kind of timed out. Thank you so much. Didn't really it just, I don't know, it didn't really work out as we planned it to be.
Okay.
So
there was no.
I'm not sure why we didn't do that, but he kind of said it would be a lot easier if we kind of just waited for them to each come home, so then we could each of them
one
just
at a time.
knock them out. Yeah, and it didn't really go like that.
Okay.
Did you guys talk much about the incident actually at Johnny's, or no?
No, we kind of segued into it just because I was wondering why they stayed in town so long, but I didn't realize that was the reason, was because they were planning on killing Johnny's family too. Mm-hmm. Whose idea was that? Was that also talked about at Peachtree Ridge Park?
Yes, that was Johnny's idea, because then that's the reason why he asked me if I wanted to kill my grandparents, because he wanted to already kill his family. And he was like, let's be Bonnie and Clyde.
You said that?
Yeah. I was like, okay.
That's what I first said when, because I'm the one that got called out to the scene initially. Was there like ever a snapping point, or, I mean, do you feel bad about what happened? Do you think she deserves what happened, or what? How are you feeling right now? I'm not in your shoes.
With my grandparents?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel terrible. I mean, I feel like the worst person on the planet, but at the same time, it was kind of just like, I don't know. I mean, I feel heartbroken, but I don't know. It's really weird. Like, I'm really sad about it, and that's like one of the reasons why like I wanted to, kill myself, and just overdose, because like there was so much stuff going on between me and my grandparents already. Like I couldn't handle it anymore.
Like you said with his follow-up question, though, I mean, did they deserve it? Did Grandma deserve it? Did Grandpa deserve it? Or was it kind of just more getting away from your own family?
It was more kind of just getting away.
Okay. So you don't think that Grandma did anything?
I mean, I was pretty pissed at her for, the couple times that, she would call the cops on me for, no reason sometimes, or
Now that we've come to know Cassie a little more, we know that there was likely a reason that Wendy called the police 13 times in the few years that Cassie lived with them. And as it turns out, that's exactly what might have led to her end. A tipster who desired to stay anonymous called the police station the day Cassie was arrested and alleged that the reason she'd killed her grandparents was because they'd found out that she was using drugs and threatened to report her. Later, detectives were convinced that this might actually be the case when they found Cassie's court papers dated from January of that year, 2 months before her grandparents were reported missing. The papers included a notice for an arraignment hearing to establish Cassie as a delinquent minor, or a child who has committed an act that would be considered a crime if they were an adult, and has been determined to be in need of treatment, rehab, or supervision. The hearing concerned an incident the previous November where Cassie had attacked her grandma and was charged with simple battery, and at the hearing, Cassie was put on probation. She subsequently dropped out of high school by choice. In other words, Cassie was only one step away from a jail cell, and if her grandparents did follow through and report her for the drugs, she likely would have been taken away from the people she cared about yet again, and the codependent young couple couldn't let that happen.
It would be really offensive because it would be about my mom.
Who did you have because your grandparents are essentially your parents at this point.
Yeah.
And they've been taking care of you for how many years, and you live with them. It's a day-to-day thing. Mm-hmm. Who did you have a more contentious relationship with? Who was the one you were butting heads with all the time?
My grandma.
Your grandma more so than your grandpa?
Yeah, I couldn't talk to my grandpa. I did not have a real good relationship with him. Before we did, but then I don't know, I wasn't able to talk to him as much, and he kind of pushed me out.
Pushed you out of his life a little bit. Do you think that maybe was it Johnny's plan to you get your grandma and he get your grandpa, or did you want to kind of get your grandma yourself because of your relationship, your strained relationship?
It was sort of Johnny's idea more. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he deserved it, but I just wanted to get away from all of that, I was so tired of dealing with my family. It felt like I didn't even have a family. It felt like they weren't there. Even though they tried to help, it's just the way that they were kind of doing it was I don't know, it didn't really work out. So I don't know. I started feeling.
Was your mom ever part of the plan?
Oh, killing them? Mm-hmm. I wanted to.
Was it something you and Johnny discussed, or is it something you just thought of?
Well, I mean, we did discuss it, but then Johnny was like, no, we can't waste our time on them. And I was like, okay. But I wanted to. We drove over by their house the other day. They have new cars, I don't know what guns they have in their house. I don't really know what's going on inside their house. So, I mean, I don't know.
You didn't know what you would be met with.
Yeah, I didn't.
Whereas your grandparents, you knew it was kind of a safe bet.
Yeah.
That they'd be sleeping at that time of night, and you could attack them separately and be able to control them.
Yeah, because I don't know what my parents would do. They're insane.
So you guys kind of had a plan for each kind of lifestyle of your families. Like your grandparents obviously went to bed a little earlier. You could just wait until they were asleep, and then you could each respectively take one and kill them. And then with Johnny's family, he said it would be easier for you guys to kind of knock them down one by one and kill them when they returned. Did Johnny bring a backpack to that one too, like he brought to your grandparents?
He brought a baseball bat because we bought a baseball bat.
Where'd you buy the baseball bat from?
I can't remember the store, but I remember him seeing him buy the bat. So he bought the bat. We brought it over to the house.
Did he swipe for it or pay cash?
Cash.
And when do you think you guys bought the bat? And was this in preparation for killing Johnny's parents?
Yes.
Family?
Yes.
So he brought a backpack?
Yes.
What was in the backpack? What about Johnny? Did he get any cuts?
Johnny got hit in the nose, like right here.
So that was from your grandpa?
No, that was at his house.
No, I'm saying at your grandparents' house.
No.
So you got bit, but Johnny didn't get anything?
No, he might have just like broken like a finger or two. Maybe, yeah.
How did he do that?
Just by punching my grandpa, because he didn't use like any weapons except for a knife. I don't think he even used a tire iron on my grandpa. He was just using his fist. So.
What about you guys had a scale and stuff like that in the bag? Was that Johnny's or yours?
It was Johnny's. The scale?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Johnny's.
Does he sell or just buy or what?
We were just using it just to make sure no one was like
ripping off?
Yeah, ripping us off. Because sometimes like that's what people would do. Because we were smoking weed, so.
We're not the drug police.
We were smoking weed, and sometimes like do you know what a plug is, right? Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
She thinks we're really old.
No. I didn't know if you guys knew like that term. So yeah, like sometimes like our plug would like short us, and we just wanted to make sure if like she ever did, So.
Did she ever short you or no?
This old 80-something-year-old lady, she sells drugs. She's crazy. I call her Mama Bear. She was almost like a mom to me. She's pretty cool.
Is it at that mobile home place you buy that dope from or no?
But what we never can fully explain is why it happened or what happened. Like the reasons it happened.
Like why we did what we did?
Yeah.
I mean, the main reason why I did what I did was because I kind of just wanted to get away from my family.
How were you feeling? So that was your plan going into it. Killing Grandma and Grandpa would get you further away from your family.
Yeah.
When you were actually attacking Grandma, when you heard Johnny attacking Grandpa, you said you got a rush.
Yeah, I had like this like kind of like this rush where I was like, okay, like I'm ready to do this. Like it's gonna happen. There's no going back.
So
it wasn't like a good rush. It was kind of like okay, like
it's go time.
I gotta do this, like I gotta do what I gotta do.
No, I'm not gonna pretend I'm any expert in karate or anything like that. I got a cousin who's kind of walk me through what was going on in your head. I mean, was it like you said, the rush where it's go time, I just need to do what the fuck we came here to do?
Yeah.
Or was it like, fuck them, they gave me curfew, they deserved it,
it was
let's get this shit going?
It's both.
Both?
Honestly, I mean, I stopped doing kung fu for a while just because, my mind wasn't there, I just, all of my feelings and my emotions were all over the place and I wasn't able to focus. So that really affected, my kung fu. But when I was there, I don't know, just all of my emotions kind of just, came out when it was happening. I was just angry and I was sad, but I was heartbroken at the same time, because it was just why did all of this stuff have to, happen with my family, why did I have to deal with all this bullshit, and it's just, I just kind of really got tired of it and I couldn't handle it anymore. I just kept exploding inside almost. I wanted to just run away and just be by myself with someone, and just start my life. I was just tired of being
And Grandma and Grandpa were your biggest hurdles?
Yeah. Just because, you know...
Is that how you saw them as your biggest hurdles to being with Johnny?
No, they were my biggest hurdles because of probation.
Okay.
If I didn't get probation, like, I wouldn't be in this, like, I don't know, like, probation kind of really messed me up because, you know, I was going to get a job, you know, I was going to, like, start getting money, just, you know, starting my life, and then once I got probation, it kind of just, like, really messed up everything, you know, like, I had to be home at a certain time, and I couldn't do as much stuff as I, you know, used to do, and, you know, that really made me angry because, you know, I used to just be able to do whatever, you know, I wanted to, you know, like.
When you, during this whole week, kind of in between, you guys obviously took Grandma's credit card, you swiped it a bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get denied when you were trying to swipe it?
No.
Okay.
We tried to take cash out, but then we found out it was a debit card.
Okay.
That's the only reason why we get denied.
You got $1,000 in cash. Did you spend it all, or do you have it all?
We spent it all.
Okay.
On food, money, weed.
And the money you were going to potentially get from Johnny's family was going to be what you were going to start new with?
Yeah.
Where were you going to go afterwards?
We were going to go, like, to Florida.
Okay. Anywhere in particular?
Maybe, like, Pensacola, Panama City. Just somewhere, you know, where we could just, like, escape.
Yeah.
Just somewhere where we could just kind of, like, escape reality.
I gotcha.
That's kind of just all I've been wanting to do for such a long time, which is...
Escape reality or kill Grandma and Grandpa?
Well, no, not kill them. Kind of just, like, escape from everything, you know, just start my life, you know, like... I don't know, like, just... I just wanted to move on from everything, just my family, you know, like, I couldn't be around them because just everything that, you know, we've all been through, you know, it's just so much betrayal and lies.
Did Johnny have a similar relationship with his family, or was his more of a beneficiary kind of thing? He wanted their money and...
Well, the way I saw their relationship was... his mom, you know, would get on him a lot, saying, you know, like, you're not doing anything with your life, and blah, blah, blah. When he had, like, he just got out of jail, he had 2 jobs, he was back in school, he was, you know, getting his shit together.
Right.
And then, you know, his mom kept saying, you know, like, you're just worthless, you know, you're not doing anything.
Kind of putting him down.
Yeah.
So it was more of a hostile relationship between them with that.
Hey, do me a favor. You gotta take a look at that. That's you and him, right? Is that at your grandparents' house? It sure looks like the living room of your grandparents' house.
How would that be possible?
Who's taking that?
That couldn't be at my grandparents' house. There was no one at my grandparents' house, so that could have been at my grandparents' house.
Well, I mean, I didn't shit this out. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Who, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it sounds like...
Well, let me watch it again. I gotta... That must have been before.
Who's over there?
That might have been, like, Izzy or Sabrina.
But your grandparents didn't like Johnny, so when was he at your house much?
Like, he didn't go to my house at all. Like, I mean... That couldn't have been at my house. That had to be at someone else's house because we had no one at my house. It was just me and Johnny.
But as it would turn out, the video of her and Johnny chilling with a couple of friends was taken inside the Bjorhases' home by one of the people they invited over. However, even without the video, the detectives were already aware that Cassie was lying. In fact, they learned this by sheer coincidence, as not one but 2 daughters of 2 different officers at the department just so happened to be friends with Cassie. After hearing about Cassie's arrest, both young women reported that she actually had invited them to her house during that week. One was invited over on April 4th and the other on April 5th. Neither girl went for their own personal reasons, but the girl who Cassie called on the 5th stated that she saw a black female in the background of the FaceTime call, the same girl who recorded the incriminating video and uploaded it to Snapchat. At that point, there was no doubt that others were inside the home following the murders, and they had no idea that while they smoked and laughed in the living room, the owners of the house were decomposing just feet above them.
You know what your grandparents' house looks like, and just even the stuff said almost seems after the fact, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell us? Anything else you think we should know about any of this? No? Okay. Did you guys hurt anybody else, steal from anybody else, do anything else?
No.
We're not going to find a body in Johnny's trunk?
What's it called? It was Johnny's ex said I was stalking her.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Oh, I have no idea.
You don't know anything
No,
about that?
I don't know anything about that. Yeah, Corbin Bruce will be here to talk to you in a little bit. We're going to have somebody come up, take photos, and try to take your fingerprints, okay? But if there's nothing else you think you need to know, nobody else got hurt, no body in the back of Johnny's trunk?
Nope.
Okay.
What's her real name?
Kieran.
Kieran? What's her last name?
I don't know.
Was she at your grandparents' house?
She's been there before.
Was she there during when you guys were hanging out there? You sure? Or?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember having anyone over at my house.
And is Kieran, do you even know how to spell that or no?
No, I don't.
Kieran.
The only place I can think of where that video was taken was at her house. Because me and Johnny went over to her house.
Is Kieran a white chick, black chick?
Black.
Obviously female.
Yeah.
How old is she?
19.
Peachtree Ridge?
Used to. Dropped out.
What's Izzy's real name?
This is her real name.
It's notable that the very first sign of emotion we get from Cassie comes after she rats on her friends and not after or during the retelling of her grandparents' murder. This speaks to just how emotionally cut off Cassie was from her family and consequently how much she gravitated towards the temporary people in her life instead. In her mind, her grandparents were nothing compared to her friends and her boyfriend, and even though they fed, sheltered, and clothed her for years, she viewed them not as her caretakers but as an endless plague over her life. A hurdle she had to jump over to get to what and who she really wanted.
We got a problem, man. I mean, as you know, I'm a cool dude. So is she, okay? I've been doing this longer than you've been alive, okay? I'm a no bullshitter. I don't know what those DA investigators, I don't know what type of, how many times they talked you're that. We're different in that aspect, okay? I'm cool as shit with you if you're cool as shit with me. But once lying and stuff like that starts, I have a problem. I believe that there were people at that house, okay?
If it was probably only Sunshine.
Your house, okay? So who was there?
The only person who I can think of would be there would be Sunshine and her boyfriend.
Okay, so Sunshine has a boyfriend. What's Sunshine's boyfriend's name?
Alex Peterson.
Alex Pearson?
Peterson, yeah.
Peterson. White dude, black dude?
White.
How old is he?
20.
Where's he stay at?
Like right down the road from me.
Golf receiver?
Yeah.
Now, again, you're saying you think they showed up. I mean, you have to... Is that video from during that time frame, do you know?
It might have been. I don't know.
So, I mean, you remember pretty good details. I don't see how you forget this.
Is your grandma going to let... Real talk. Is your grandma going to let Johnny, Alex, and Sunshine over at her house?
No, they didn't even... She didn't even know about them.
Okay.
I mean, she knew about Johnny, but she didn't know about...
So for all these people to be inside your house, we're gonna both have to assume that it was after you guys killed your grandparents.
I'll be straight up, dude. We heard about a conversation that took place inside there where someone was bitching about the smell. And Johnny's like, no, dude, it's just sewage. There's a sewage problem upstairs. Is this not?
That never came up.
Now, that could be rumors. You know how when kids talk, rumors.
That never was a conversation that came up. The only people who came over to the house was Sunshine and Alex.
So they did come over to the house after you killed your grandparents?
Yeah, I mean, all of it was like one big rush. You know, I don't remember what day they came over. But
I'm not asking for a day. I'm just asking for in 7 days after you guys killed your grandparents and before you went to go attack Johnny's family.
Yeah.
Sunshine and Alex were at your house.
Yes.
What did you guys do?
I just smoked some weed.
Okay. Did you order food?
No.
Okay.
How long
did they order food?
No.
You just ate weed or smoked weed? I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah, we
I've never smoked weed, I'm sorry. But I've heard, watching movies, you also get hungry. So you got 4 fucking teenagers inside a house, nobody gets hungry?
Well, if we got hungry, we would have left and got something to eat. But the conversation with the smell and the sewage, that.
Well, just don't hang up on that. That's just rumors. People in high school talk a lot of crap, and that's just rumors that I heard. I knew somebody. I mean, I've seen videos and things like that.
Let me ask you a question. You kill Grandma and Grandpa with Johnny. We're like, fuck it, let's have some people over. Johnny tells you to pour bleach on them.
Yeah.
You pour bleach on them.
Yeah.
Where did you put Grandpa's bleach bottle?
Well, he used the same bleach bottle.
Okay, so you bleach Grandpa first,
Yeah.
then you bleach Grandma, and then you throw the bottle in the trash can. In the bathroom.
I don't remember throwing it.
It's like, alright, it's more like a Windex bottle than it is like a tub of bleach. Okay. And then Johnny cocks the doors?
Yes.
After you bleach them?
Yes.
Several days after you kill them?
Yes.
And that was because it smelled and you were having people over.
We weren't intending to have any people over. We only had Sunshine and Alex come over just that one day because we were like, you know, it was only a couple days after, so we thought it was going to be okay. Like, it didn't smell in the house.
Do they know that your grandparents were upstairs?
No.
They have no idea.
They had no idea. I told them that they were on vacation.
Did they go upstairs at all?
No.
How long did they stay there for?
Just for like a few hours. They came really late at night.
Who else came over?
It was just Sunshine and
You
Alex.
said we only thought Sunshine and Alex were coming.
It was just them. No one else came to the house.
Okay, let me ask you this then. You literally have showed no emotion towards your grandparents. I don't know the life that you were having, and I guess I can kind of understand that you wanted to sever that part of your life and start over again, okay? But why are you showing emotion with when I brought up Sunshine? What the hell is this chick? You know what I'm saying?
She's just a close friend. She was there most of the time. So she's really close to me. Not as close as Izzy though. Like,
Did Izzy come over?
no.
Does she know what happened?
No.
Did you tell anyone what happened? Not a person?
Detectives were able to get in touch with Izzy after the interview, at which point she confirmed that she had been invited to Cassie's house on April 5th, but didn't go. She was also able to confirm that Sunshine and her boyfriend Alex were at the house.
I told everyone that my grandparents left on vacation.
Why were you even telling people that your grandparents left? To let them come over?
Because my grandma kept texting everyone saying to look out for me.
What do you mean?
To see where I was. Because, you know, after she kicked me out, she started texting all of my friends and everyone saying, look out for Cassie. You know, tell her to come home. And then I told people I went home. And then I told them that they weren't home. They left a note and the key saying that they were going on vacation for 2 weeks.
Did you text anyone on Grandma's phone?
Yes.
Pretending to be Grandma?
Yes.
Who did you text?
Just Sylvia.
Okay. And who's that to you?
She's a family member in California.
Okay. So you texted Sylvia. What did you say to Sylvia?
She kept asking, is everything okay? Because she just started freaking out.
Sylvia, Randall's sister, submitted a tip to police early on while they were still searching for Cassie and Johnny. She emailed them screenshots of text message conversations between her and Wendy that took place between April 1st and April 6th. Except she claimed that the person texting her wasn't Wendy. The last text she believes she truly received from Wendy was, "I'm going to bed soon. Maybe tomorrow will be better. All I can do is hope for the best and expect the worst. It shouldn't be this hard for any of us." But since that message, the verbiage and emojis used changed to things that Wendy wouldn't normally say. Being the one who filed the missing persons report, Sylvia took it as another sign that something was terribly wrong. And unfortunately, she was right.
She just started freaking out, like, that my grandma wasn't texting her, and so I started texting her saying everything's fine.
Where'd you take Grandma's phone from? Was it on her nightstand? Was it in her purse?
It was on her nightstand.
Okay. Did you take it before or after you hit her with the tire iron?
It was like in the middle.
In the middle. So she couldn't call 911?
Yeah. No, we made sure that they couldn't call 911.
No one else came to the house? It was just you and Johnny.
It's just me and Johnny.
And after a few days, you poured bleach on Grandma and Grandpa to mask the smell.
Yeah.
So Sunshine and Alex would come over.
So then they wouldn't find out.
And then you caulked the doors.
Yeah.
You caulked the front door too.
That was all Johnny. I didn't even do that.
Why did Johnny caulk the front door?
I didn't even know he did that to the
He
front
did.
door.
Well, let me ask you this. Could you use the front door to your house before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would never
Did you bring the Amazon packages in or did Grandma?
I did.
You did? Why did you?
So that it didn't look obvious.
Okay.
Most people like to steal our stuff.
Okay. Did you bring the mail in at all or just the Amazon?
Just the packages that were left on the porch.
The packages found in the foyer and mailbox were how detectives determined a time frame for Wendy and Randall's murder. They found a package from Pet Gifts that had been delivered on April 6th, and after a back search, they learned that the order for the package had been placed on April 1st. Officers then located the earliest unopened package, a Beautiful direct box that was delivered on April 4th. This information narrowed the time frame for the murders down to after 10 p.m. on April 1st when the Pet Gifts order was placed, and before 1 p.m. on April 4th when the Beautiful direct box was delivered and the receiver never got to open it. Seeing as the victims were dressed to go to bed, detectives concluded that they were either killed on the night of April 1st, April 2nd, or April 3rd, though they were never able to pinpoint exactly which night since neither of the suspects knew either.
There was shit all over that house.
Yeah, we destroyed the house, but we didn't have a party there. We didn't have a party there.
Cassie, Johnny, Sunshine, and Alex, and that's it?
That was it.
And that video's from after, right?
It must have been from Sunshine, because no one else was at the house. I didn't even think she was recording us off her phone.
And she was. You used Snapchat. Why wouldn't she use Snapchat?
I didn't.
She didn't know your grandparents were dead upstairs.
Yeah. I didn't realize she was taking a video of us.
Anything else? You got caught that you had people over after. You don't seem to be sorry that you killed your grandparents.
I am.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. Knock if you need anything.
Following the interview, Cassie was photographed and booked into the Gwinnett County Jail, where Johnny was already housed after refusing to be interviewed. Both Cassie and Johnny were charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. They both opted to skip trial and plead guilty to the murders, but when they appeared in court for sentencing in February of 2018, it was clear that the Bonnie and Clyde facade had been broken. While Cassie refused to give a last statement and remained stone-faced throughout the proceeding, Johnny completely broke down in tears, begging for forgiveness and leniency. He read quotes from the Bible and described his actions as abominable and evil and deserving of hellfire. Judge Deborah Turner evidently agreed, judging by her last thoughts on the case. "I'm not sure I've ever imagined such a well-planned, despicable, heinous act to be committed by 2 such young people. The heartless and depraved nature of what the 2 of you did says to me it's not worth my time." Before being led away by court officers, Cassie and Johnny were both sentenced to life in prison with the chance of parole in 60 years.